national growth. In recent times, you agree with me that there's been a huge conversation on religion and how whether religion is bringing us a divide in our country or how we can explore religion to build our nation. And today I have with me in studio a theologian who's also a reverend minister who's going to help us do justice to it. And I have in studio Reverend Amos Ato Wonderful Afo. Papa, you're welcome to the show today.
Thank you very much, Gugu. And greetings to your listeners and viewers.
Absolutely, right. Absolutely. So, Mosofo, just to start the conversation, first let me find out from you, from a theologian's perspective, when we say religion, what exactly is it?
Okay, thank you very much. I think that religion has to do with the way of life and the way of faith of a people. The goal of religion is to reach a supreme being. So for all the religions in the world, the focus is on how you get to contact a supernatural being for whatever you need in life. And in Ghana, we are aware of our major religions, Christianity and Islam and African traditional religions. But there are other religions which are very much active in Ghana, even though they are not very mentioned. But we know of these three primary religions. So it's a way of faith, how you get to reach a transcendent being, how you get to interact with a supernatural being, and how you get to prepare for the life after this life. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that there's a way we can connect to a supreme being.
Yes, sir.
But now the question is that, again, from a theologian's perspective, do we have just one supreme being? Or there are different supreme beings that we worship differently? Or there's a single supreme being that we just get to him through different means?
I think I will side with the latter. There is one supreme being, and how we get to that supreme being is through various means. So in African traditional religion, there's a hierarchy. You have the supreme being, you have the lesser gods, you have the spirit that dwells in the rivers and rocks and mountains and those people. You have the ancestors. Then before you have the human species. So we all reach a certain supreme being through various means. And Islam will agree with us that Allah is the same as our Christian God. So for me, the supreme being is one. The supreme being is one. Just that the ways by which we get to the supreme being diverse, and everybody is entitled to what works best for them.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, for each of the various sects or the various religions, I guess our teachings, there are some commonalities in our teachings. Things like honesty. I guess there are commonalities.
Yes.
Things like do unto others what you want to be done unto you. I guess there are commonalities.
Yes.
Now, I'm asking this to draw us to, again, religion and corruption in this country.
Wow.
Now, well, largely we pride ourselves the fact that we are a huge Christian nation.
Yes.
If we believe in honesty, we believe in doing that which is right, we believe in do not steal, why do we have corruption in this country?
That's a very interesting question, and it's one of the questions that we keep talking about in the seminaries and in theological discourses. That if Ghana is 70% or more Christians, why do we still have corruption? Why are people still killing people, and Sakawa is on the increase, and all these social vices are on the increase? And one of the things that stands out is about character formation. I think that is what has become the issue, and people are not very much interested in how they live out the Christian life. They are interested in how they participate in the Christian euphoria. I belong to this church, I belong to that church. When I die, I'll get the church to come and, bury me. When I'm having a special occasion, I can invite my pastor. It's more of an association, a club to belong. But the way of life, how to live out the Christian life is the issue. But there's room for improvement, and we pray that it gets better, because all the people who are helping our nation to become a better place for us to live are all in one religious circle or the other. And these virtues run through, like you mentioned, things about honesty, things about integrity. They run through. But it's interesting how we are not able to really get on with it.
Reverend, I'm going to ask you a very hard question. I know you are in clerical collar and but let me ask you a hard question. Do you think that the white man's religion they brought to us has failed us? And I'll give you context. If you look at our traditional communities, I know you grew outside Accra, so you would be able to appreciate this better. In some areas, even they don't have any church, no God. But you can go to the market and buy even without money. You buy and you turn, I'll bring it to you next week.
Yes.
And indeed, next week, the money will come, or you send somebody to bring the money.
Yes.
If the person does not even have the money, the person says, you don't want it, next 2 weeks. And they believe it. And that, in fact, that's how market women trade.
Yes.
Now, most of these people don't believe in any they don't go to church. What they know is the power of libation.
Yeah.
Some way, somehow, they are honest. In those areas too, the last time I went to my village, I didn't see a lock on the door. I just see a cloth. Yes. They'll sleep perfectly well at night, wake up in the morning. In fact, the only thing they may be afraid of is that the ghosts will come to them. Yeah. But they are not afraid of a human being coming to them.
Yeah.
So my question is that, if that, which at the time we didn't know any Allah or Muhammad or Jesus, were able to maintain a society on integrity and truth, and now that we have this new religion, that looks like now people, they just, in fact now, so I'm not sure even with you, with your collar, if you drop your phone just right in front there, the person will see you in collar dropping it, you won't me the phone. So we say that the white man's religion has caused us a disservice. It's a hard question. I know you're in collar.
It's a very hard
an interest, but
it's a very hard question.
We're just looking at it objectively.
Yes. I would say that our social system has been affected by a lot of things. The world has changed. When you do Christianity in West Africa, from the time the Europeans brought Christianity to our shores in 1482, the Portuguese sailors and all that, we had a very perfect life. Kind of perfect life, where the things you have described, people are very honest, they do the right things. If you do the wrong thing, the gods will kill you, so everybody is afraid. One thing that Christianity did was to liberate us from oppression. The African traditional religion is a good one. It is our religion. It is how we are. It is who we are supposed to be. And even the influences of Christianity will try to blend Africanism into the Christian way of worship. And that is what we promote, and that's what we teach. But to say that Christianity has done us a disservice is actually a very huge question and a very big debate, because there are pitfalls to the Christian faith. There are pitfalls. There are issues about people using the liberty we have in Christ to do what we want. There are issues about people, understanding a certain God who is a God of love, who delays in punishing evil, and who there's what we call the problem of evil, who watches on while evil goes on. There's what we call the challenge with theodicy, which is about the justice of God. There are challenges there and there. But Christianity, by and large, has helped the African continent. Globalization has affected the way we do our things today. So if we go to some of the very typical villages, even today, the way of life has changed a bit. I did my national service in a village. It's quite remote in the Adansi area. And as at that time, there was only the Catholic Church, and Pentecost was just rising. But I'm a Methodist, so when I went, I would rather be with the Pentecostals than to go to the incense church, Catholic Church, as it were. So I joined the Pentecostals, but even though they were very good with their Pentecostal Christian life, they still held very strictly the way of life of the village.
The traditional beliefs are still
the
there.
traditional beliefs are still there. So that if you go and steal something and they say that they are bold, they won't bring you to church to come and dane the dia. They will take you to the shrine. They'll take you to the shrine. So I think that there are ups and downs there, and the Christianity has helped. It has created a system where we are free to quote and unquote misbehave. But in those days, if you the gods were very good. If you do the right thing, you are blessed. If you do the wrong thing, you are cursed or you are punished. And they lived in fear. And I think that is what Christianity came to address. That you can serve God, but you don't have to be afraid that if I do this, I'll get punished. If I do this, I'll get punished, and all that. So those are the nuances that come with it.
It's interesting because, I mean, yes, you're saying that Christianity has preached love to us, but you see that in looking at the way we do our things, now this love that has been brought to us, that now people are no longer afraid. It makes people do what they want.
Exactly.
If you take countries where things are very strict, maybe take a place like China, a place like Singapore, those places you commit a wrong, you are punished.
Yes.
There's no question. You see that they develop. Because, and in fact, the people who are misbehaving here, put them in that same country. They'll go and help them.
Obey the rules.
So shouldn't we relook at some of these things or so forth? Because I'm bringing this because then if we have a system where somebody, in fact, yesterday I was having a conversation with somebody, we were talking about the fact that people now even go to court to swear on the Bible and lie. The person will pick a Bible knowing intentionally he's going to lie. You swear on the Bible and nothing will happen.
Yeah.
You recall some years ago, Rollins told us that, he doesn't believe in presidents and the ministers swear on the Bible. Okay. Everybody wants to occupy a position. Let's take it to Antwerp. Let's take it to Nogoko.
Yes.
Go and swear there.
Yes.
And tell the girls they are going to work diligently and do not work diligently.
Yeah.
Maybe the people would have acted better because you know that there's a curse on your head.
There's a curse on your head.
So, I mean, don't you think we should start adopting some of these ways? Maybe not to the extent of swearing on the shrine, but some of the traditional ways. Because now we made ourselves too modern. And now this modernity is not helping our national growth.
It's not helping. It's not helping. To go back to that African way of life will be a bit difficult. The issue about Christianity and Islam and faith and God and these things have become very paramount in our nation nowadays. Christians are very much refusing to go with anything that has to do with African traditional religion. Some are even against dresses. Some are against dressing fugu and dressing traditional on a certain traditional Sunday in church. Some are speaking against it because we must all be in a certain trousers and top and all that. Going back would be a bit difficult. Blending is a bit difficult. When Christianity came to the shores of West Africa, to Ghana, there was an issue of what we call religious syncretism. Being one belonging to the Christian faith and practicing African traditional religion. So when it came, the churches were in the castles. There were castle schools, there were castle churches, and those who aligned themselves with the Christian faith would go to the castle to go and clap and sing Christian songs. But when they are faced with the very issues of their lives, their mother is sick, their son has been caught in a certain ailment, he's past an age of marriage, he's not getting married, she's married, she has to get a child is not coming. They don't come to the Christian God, they go to the traditional. And they do the things they have to do traditionally. They get children, herbs and all those things. And it was called religious syncretism. Its basis was in the Bible. When God told the Israelites to go and occupy the promised land, he told them that when you go, the religion of the people, don't do anything that they are doing. It was not like everything about Balaamism, everything about the worship of Marduk and all the Molech. It was not like everything about it was wrong, but the very fact that the 10 Commandments begin with "Thou shalt have no other God apart from me," God kind of orders the people that when you go, don't do anything, don't worship the way they are worshiping, worship the way God wants to be worshipped, and do the right things. So, if we want to do a blend of how we live our lives as Africans, trying to do the right thing, and trying to, for Christians, worship Jesus, it seems a bit of a challenge, and not many people will be able to find a blend. Christianity preaches Jesus the way, the truth, and the life, and some are even go to the extreme of condemning Muslims that they are not part and all that. But that's another discussion for another day. So the blend will be difficult. We will face a situation where people are already weak in their faith, weak in their understanding of the things of God, weak in their appreciation of the knowledge of the Bible and what they must do, and to ask them to do a bit of African strictness, African religion, where good is praised, evil is punished, will be a bit difficult. What we can do and what the churches are doing, I'm sure the Muslims and the mosque and the imams are doing, is to teach the right way of life. As for the heaven or the afterlife, we are all aware of it.
Yeah.
Whether you're a Christian, you go to heaven, or Muslims have their own theology with eschatology and all that. The goal is that we all serve God, but how to live the daily life? I think that is when the issues about the African traditional things come in, because the liberty has rather not helped. The liberty has not helped.
Indeed, the theologian says the liberty has not helped with our national growth. If you are just joining us, you're welcome to the Focus on Z101.9 FM. You can share with us your comments on our social media handles. You can ask Osofo any question. He's a theologian today to answer the very hard questions. Or you can send us a message on our WhatsApp line, 0544321019, 0544321019, or you can send us a message on our Facebook link. We are streaming live on Facebook on ZFMGH, or on YouTube Z Multimedia. Now, let me ask you again, running back to the corruption question and the role the church is playing. Now, again, we still agree that many of our people who are being accused of corruption, in fact, recently we've seen a reverend minister charged with a corruption-related offense. Now, if in your church, somebody brings a corruption, money born out of corruption for offertory, also will you accept it?
Esca, you made me laugh.
That's a hard question. I know today I answered all my hard questions.
It's a very hard question.
But corruption, money born out of corruption. I know your answer may be that how do you know it was born out of corruption? But let's say that we are clear he's been convicted of a corruption offense.
Okay.
But he pays maybe harvest. In fact, they had sent him letters to come and sit as chairperson.
Yes.
Just when he was convicted, he sent you a check of 1 million Ghana cedis.
Hey.
The church too is being built. They need the money. Also, will you accept it or not?
I will accept it.
Someone says he's going to accept that amount of money.
I'm going to accept that amount of money.
My question is, why will you accept it?
Well, that's why it's a hard question. But on a critical look, I think that if the church is aware that you have been charged with corruption and it's general news, it will be hard for us to accept. It will be hard for us to accept that this money that is for national good, you steal it and you bring to us to build our church. If we are hypocritical, we will pretend as if we don't know. We don't know that the money is not from a good source. We'll be hypocritical to accept, and then we'll bless you and ask God to have mercy on you. But if we don't know, that's a different matter. If we don't know, because a lot of people bring money to church, which is from various means. Someone does hook up at night, comes to church, cleans the face, puts on duku, and comes to sing and bring offering. We don't know. Someone does a cool business deal, gets a huge sum of money, comes to thank God for business success, but he knows that where the money is coming from is not very genuine. He had to, steal, quote and unquote, for some people to bring the money. That is why, as part of our offertory prayer, one of the lines in it is to sanctify the money and to bless the giver. The bless is not just for prosperity. The bless is for God-centeredness and godly way of life. So when we are praying over our offering, Father, we thank you for these offerings. We sanctify in the name of Jesus. Bless your people who brought it, so that whatever their endeavors are, it will prosper. We know that God does not prosper evil. So our bit as a church is to receive the money. We cannot go into everybody's way of life to find out where the money they are coming is good.
But that's hard, because it looks like you are interested in the blessing of it, the blessing of the whether evil or good of the person. I mean, the rest, the person is going to deal with it with his God. But you bring example, let's say clearly when you know, let's say the one engaging in corruption, let's say we can't tell.
Yeah.
But let's say a person who is engaged in an activity clearly the church speaks against, like let's say hookup.
Yes.
You know specifically this person, and if a person has not, if you go on social media, that's the job the person does.
Yeah.
Will you still accept that amount of money? The person comes to church.
I am not sure.
So if the person pays the tithe, will you return the person's money? You see the tithe book, the person has paid maybe 1,000 cedis for the month. Will you write to the accountant that return this person's money?
I think what we can do is to have an engagement.
Yeah.
Have an engagement with the person. Especially if it's somebody we all know that this is the kind of life, to have an engagement, to find a way of helping you do something better than what you are doing. Maybe you are into this whole news about Galamsey and all that. I know Galamsey is people who have built churches for some denominations and all. What we can do as a church is to sit down with you and tell you that we know that you are bringing us money. We are enjoying the money.
But to massaging the truth, because it's like, okay, we know that 10 million you bring dear, we like it. But it conflicts our faith too. So let's have a conversation. Aren't we just, because I'm asking this because of the fact that now our only hope to tell people the truth is the church.
Exactly.
The only place we can be assured of the fact that we're going to hear the truth is the church.
Yes.
Now, if our religious bodies, and let me say church, by church I mean church, mosque, any of the religious institutions.
Yeah.
If now these were able to compromise our religious places, aren't we doomed?
We are doomed.
Because if the person goes to Mount Galamsey and he comes to build a multi-million complex for a church that was really struggling, they couldn't even lay foundation. Now it lifts about a 3-story building, then even names it after himself, so and so Memorial Church.
Memorial Church.
How can you speak the truth to this person?
I think the truth must be told. The truth must be told that it will be hard for many ministers of the gospel to call such a person and tell the person that we know that you are bringing us this money, you intend to do this for us, but we are also aware of the source of your money, that it is not good. It is from a source that we speak against. So keep your money. It will be very hard for a lot of pastors to do that. It will be very hard for a lot of leaders meetings, session meetings, council meetings to sit down and say that, oh, we have a gift from this particular person who is into this kind of life.
Yeah.
Should we accept it or not? A lot of people say that it is the money we are interested in, not the person. But what we can do, I mentioned, is to sit down and talk with the person and tell the person, we appreciate your gift, but we cannot accept it. We are in dire need of the money. We are building a complex, we are building a chapel, we are laying our altar, we are laying sanctuary, we are doing tiles. We need the money, but we are also aware of where your money is coming from, and we cannot accept. And that is one of the things that if we start doing as a church, we create a standard where not everything goes. Because if the church loses its prophetic voice to speak against evil, then we are not a church at all. because the prophetic voice of the church is to speak on matters that affect human life. That affect human life. And Christianity is not lived within the confines of the four corners of the church. Christianity is lived in the markets, in the offices, in the banks, in the courts, in the anywhere you find. That's where we live the Christian life. So if you come to church and we are not bold enough to tell you that this thing you are doing is wrong, then we have a problem. And a lot of pastors and a lot of ministers and a lot of religious leaders are not helping us do these things. They are interested in the miracles. They are interested in you are not married, come. You don't have children, come. You are sick, come. Then they charge you and take money. It's all about money. That's a huge issue. That's a huge issue.
Yeah. That's interesting. So it means that we are having corruption because the churches are failing to speak the truth.
That's true.
Not speaking against the God, but speaking the truth.
Yes.
Because we know this person.
Yeah.
There's a man of God, I'll mention his name, this guy, who is always very bold to even say it as it is. Now people criticize that this is like.
Yeah.
That you must not just call it out. But now where we sit, when we massage it, okay, you are bringing us 10 million. So in fact, I recall those days, there was a particular church I knew where there was a man very rich who had 2 wives. And you know the church does not support 2 wives.
Yeah.
Now he had 2 wives because you're supporting Harvest heavily. They recognize the 2 wives.
Yeah.
But if it was a poor man who had 2 wives, you'd have been suspended. So if the voice of conscience we have is now playing in, we're not cutting the straight line, then we have a problem.
We have a problem. And I think that if the church will not be able to boldly tell people this is right and this is wrong, then we are greatly missing it. If the Christian body, if the religious sects are not able to boldly speak on matters that are good and that are bad, then we are clearly missing it. If we treat people based on their social status, based on their financial contributions, based on their connections, based on their networks, and we say that, okay, for this person let's try and be calm with him, but for this person let's boot him out. These are the issues that the book of Amos will speak against. He will speak against injustice. He will speak against marginalization of the poor. He will speak against the praise of the oppressor because they bring benefits to the nation. And we have a voice as a church to begin to speak. And that prophetic voice must not be lost. In our days, it is interesting, the wave of Christianity that is coming. Is very dangerous if we tread on this path, especially with the new charisma movements and all these power demonstration churches who are more interested in what you can get as a Christian instead of how you can live as a Christian. And those of us who find ourselves in mainline churches are also drawn to these things because they offer a certain motivation for a certain kind of life. So they preach prosperity, they preach good health, they preach never falling sick, they preach all these things, and they don't teach the people how to be good Christians. And that's the old-time religion that our fathers and our superintendent ministers and very old ministers, they sit down and they are saddened in their hearts that we have left the religion of the old time, the scripture union kind of religion, those days when it's about doing the right thing, living as a Christian, drawing people to Christ, speaking about God. I was having an interesting conversation with our minister in charge's wife yesterday. And she's an old woman, but she's very pretty and all that. She went to fix her car. Someone came to ask her, "Oh, woman, please, can you come and sit?" She had removed her ring for various whatever reason there is. And the man, as old as she is, the man was trying to twist that old woman and say that, "Hey, are you as a family, are you married?" And so mommy says that the first thing I told him that when you came to me, the first thing you should give to me is Christ, not trying to twist me to see whether I am married or not, and trying to, even though I told you I'm married, the guy said, "Oh, but now you're married," and so I'm a pastor's wife. Oh, pastor's wife do the worst. and these are the things that
And these are actually realities.
Yes.
I mean, the one saying he's saying, because if it was a no-go area, he would have stopped.
Yes.
But he knew that, even maybe or something like that side car, there's even a lot of space.
Yeah, they are doing it and all that. And you can't draw the line between Christians and non-Christians. We can't draw the line. Apart from church, where people on a Sunday will present themselves to church, when it comes to actual living the Christian life, you cannot draw the difference. The Christian church elder is married as a girlfriend. The guy who does not go to church is married as a girlfriend. What is the difference? So people are not bold enough to profess their faith in their workplaces. They are not bold enough to stand out for the truth, because they know that they are doing some things underneath that people know. That this one, stop making yourself as if you are all righteous, because we know of a sin you are committing. And even though we don't speak perfection, we strive to be blameless before men. God told Abraham that walk before me and be blameless. You cannot be all perfect. We all have a few flaws here and there, but try. The quest for blamelessness is the issue, and if we are able to push that agenda, I'm sure we'll get somewhere as a nation. I'm sure we'll get somewhere.
Right, but let's run the conversation back a little. And you mentioned of training. So does it mean that if we have elderly people who are engaged in this, and most of them, almost many of these people were born in the church,
yes,
does it mean that there was something lacking in terms of training, instilling discipline? Because our fathers and our grandfathers who were in the Presbyterian church and the Methodist church, they'll tell you of how there's some values were instilled in them that some of them, he'll be an accountant for like 50 years. He can hit his chest and say that I never change any figure.
Yes.
If it is 1, it is 1. If it is 2, it is 2. He will not add any figure, because he feels that there's something put in him which is against making this change. Today we have people, in fact, somebody told me last week also that he works in government. He can close from work, going, they'll call him, bring 150 million, bring 1.5 million. Where's he going to get that money from? So he must go to the office, just go and pick the books, turn things around, submit the money. But is it that then our religious institutions have failed to instill some of these values in us, so that when we grow up and we get to the point of temptation, we are unable to stand?
Well, the first point of training is the home. The first point of training is the home.
But it's true. But you see, previously, even in the homes, when somebody misbehaves, and they even take you to the mission school.
Yes.
I'm going to give the headmaster, who is a catechist in your church, for him to lash you.
Yes.
So, in fact, even though training was from the home, people still defer to the church.
Yes.
People were happy to take your children to Sunday school. And then we have the tell that you Sunday, I'll take you to church. You see what your Sunday school teacher will do to you. And people were afraid.
Yes. You know? I think that's the right call. We had a certain honor as a church, which has been lost. I don't know when and how we can recover, but we have lost that sense of punitive institution. We have been so liberal and so humane to think that nowadays things are different, caning people, and those things are not the way of training people. Sit with a child of 4 years, sit with a child and talk. A child of 7 years, sit with a child. And education is helping us appreciate these things, that we thank God for these enlightenment. But there's something foundationally missing, which the church lost and the home also lost. And that's exactly what you mentioned, that training, that instilling of training. Now, parents will rather, we hardly spend a lot of time at home.
Yeah.
So a lot of the work is done by the schools. And now, even the whole aspect of religion in schools is under challenge. From basic school, worship on certain Wednesdays.
We'll even come there.
Friday.
We'll come and look at, the dynamics of it.
All right.
We'll
so these things are proving a bit of a challenge to us, and we are not able to stand our grounds. Human rights have increased. If you do something to a child can walk to anybody. Social media has increased. You are caning your child, somebody will snap it, send it, and the next thing you are invited to come and answer while you are punishing your own child this way. and not that way.
Yeah.
And a lot of questioning is happening in the system, and people have become more interested in the issues of people, and they love to spread the bad news. Well, in those days, the communal living helped. So if you return from school, your father is not around, your mother is not around, you have your next door neighbor, or you have the next person who can give you food to eat. You can remove your uniform, sit around, read your books, wait for your father and mother to come. Now, Obibe free school about now called you have a whole case on it.
No trust.
No
the
trust on it at all. And I don't know what we can do to salvage the situation, but I think there is something we can do. There's something we can do, and as the conversations come on, I'm sure that we'll be able to figure out a few of the things that.
So, Ali, you agree that these cultural practices and these religious practices we have thrown away, we must start bringing some of them back.
We should. We must. We must. We must. We are Africans, so we are Ghanaians. As a way, if you are Kan, you are a Kan. If you are an Ewe, you are an Ewe. And I have a friend of mine who is an Ewe, and she always go like me. I'm a Christian, but I know that I'm an Ewe, so there are some things I don't do. She's a very good Christian, but she said that me, I know I'm an Ewe, but there are some things Ewes we don't do. No matter how spiritual I get, this one I won't do because I'm an Ewe. And she will add it because I'm an Ewe. She will add it very strongly. And I think that if we instill these things in people and they understand that even though Christianity offers liberty, this one should not be done. This one should be done. And it's nowadays, and people commit evil, and then they go their way without anybody telling them anything.
Interestingly, as I had a story of, I think, two people that were pastors also. They were working, praying, and they were just insulting things. That they'll see this person, they'll just see all kinds of, because they, thought they had superior power. Then they go to the crossing a bridge. Then I think one guy was like, start insulting the river. Then the other guy said, I beg you, this river there, let's not go there. So let's not go there. He was like, but I thought you have the power, because I beg you, let's not go there.
It's interesting. My national service station, I mentioned, is a village, but even the churches, they know that on Tuesday we don't go to the riverside, on Thursday we don't go to the farm. On certain days, you don't go anywhere. Nobody steps out. Schools are closed. Churches are closed. Nobody goes anywhere. And everybody respects it. So when I went there, fresh from university with Gamsu Fire, praying in tongues and all that. So we were doing a week-long revival in our church. And then the caretaker came to tell me that, teacher, Tuesday evening we can't come because it is something. I said, why can't you come? So they say that on that evening, the Kung Fu will do some things on the river and in the forest, so nobody should step out. Oh, I was trying to do gaga. I told you, nothing will happen. Let's go and pray. Don't you believe in God? Then nobody came. I alone, I went to, we used to meet in the classroom. I was there. I was, shaking the akasa and praying in tongues and with my phone trying to play some music and chat the atmosphere. I was there, and then I heard then I heard, boy, how I got to my house, I never, I didn't know. And when I was going, the whole town was very quiet.
Very quiet.
Very quiet. It was around 7. It was not very late. But everybody was in their room, and I was the only one trying to possess some God power to go and, do church. I ran away without knowing. The next day, someone came to tell me that, I said, don't try that thing again. Don't try that thing again. You're a Christian. If it's time for Christian, we don't have anything traditional to do. You can spend all the time you want in church. Nobody will say anything. So I think that if we go back to revisit some of these traditions, it will help.
And that's going back to a rule-based system. What will be rules?
Rules.
They have put it there that, let's say, Tuesday evening, don't go out.
Yes.
Just don't go out.
Just don't go out.
Or they put it there that this time, do this. Just do it.
Yes.
But I think here we don't obey rules.
We don't obey rules.
Because when I travel, I go to different countries, you see that people respect rules. They tell you that the road cross at this side. That is where they cross. You won't find, in fact, you won't see anybody all along. So you see that the person is probably going to the end here. You walk from this end to this end to cross and go back.
Yes.
But here we are smart. So he gets there, he just crosses. Because nothing happened. And then because there's a camera watching pointing there.
Yeah.
Immediately do it, a machine will generate a ticket for you, jaywalking. You've committed an offense.
Okay.
There's no human being, oh, officer, I beg you. No, the ticket has been given to you. It's been placed on your record somewhere. Even if you don't pay immediately, you go and renew something.
Yes.
They'll take the money from there. So I think that we must, in as much as we are happy to have a liberal, we must be rule-based people.
Because you see the overhead at, is it Medina?
Yes.
They do an overhead for people to just walk.
Every day, people are just crossing.
They are just crossing,
crossing.
And trying to move between the stone bridge and all that.
And there's no, you see a woman crossing, the thing would have held onto a skirt, but still she, but just go a few, just 100 meters, climb the thing, just come down,
go.
simple.
And go. We should return to a certain way of life. We should return to a certain way of discipline. We should return to a certain way of discipline. It's not helping. I mean, in cities, the number of people who are thrown to the cities are too many. We take Accra for example. Different tribes and different ethnicities are all existing. It will be hard to generate a certain traditional code for everybody. Elders can keep their code, Fantis can keep their codes, our brothers and sisters from the north can keep their codes, but to generate a single code for everybody and a rule, that is where the laws must be obeyed. One of my lecturers in the seminary, very Reverend Ateju Bekin, will say that Ghana is a free country, but the rules must be obeyed.
Yeah.
But enforcing the rule is usually the issue, because the rules are there. I'm sure the rules are there.
No, for that, no doubt. But you see, again, it comes back to sometimes the church, because when there's a problem, a person will go and call his pastor. And if you are the one to enforce the rule, and pastor calls you, pastor says that, the Lord said, sometimes it's hard for you, because on your conscience is there.
Yeah.
That, hey, so this thing if I don't do, will I go to hell?
Yeah.
But the person has done what is wrong. And sometimes the sad thing is that, the pastor is not even coming to even plead. He's come to compromise you. Then you ask yourself that, okay, so that religious institution, and there's a reason why a lot of people now sometimes do not even believe in religion anymore. Because then they feel that the place where I've gone to for hope of a renewed life, the bad life I'm living, they are living the same bad life.
The same life there.
So why do I come to,
Yeah.
It's interesting, but I think that we'll have to be able to revive our religious institutions to fight against corruption. Because, all the people, whatever, when they get problems, whether spiritual or whatever, they run to the church.
Yes.
And if they can just pay money, then we're just going to, I think, those that was it called penance, where people used to pay money for their sins to be forgiven, or a pastor to pray for their forgiveness, which we ran away from long ago.
Yes.
But I do that now, we are coming. People will say, oh, don't worry, you just bring them and we'll pray to the Lord. Nothing will happen. We even pray that the thing you are doing will be secured by a deity,
These pastors, that is why ministerial training and information is really very vital in our days. A lot of very wonderful pastors who are doing a lot of good work, preaching a lot of gospel and doing a lot of miracles and helping people face their challenges in life, are not helping people to do the right thing. The African is notoriously religious. So a lot of us defer to the church on almost all occasions, almost everything. We run to the church, but instead of the church trying to put his feet down and say that, for instance, you have gone to rape somebody, then the mother causes the police to arrest you. Maybe your father or your mother is also a member of the church, then come to Osofu, me bana you say, my son has gone to rape somebody, but pastor, please come and say some, let's settle it at home, yen can wufi and all that. And as a pastor, you are moved because of your church members to bring the issues that you should take to court, or you should take to the legal quarters for them to deal with and ensure that this thing you have done are punished. Then we try to play the devil's advocate, try to bring people on board, trying to encourage people to live at peace. Let's talk about it at home. This thing can be done with God, can forgive and all that. But I have a very senior minister in the Methodist Church. She's a woman. She's a gender coordinator or something, that kind of office. And she said that if anything comes to the church that has been sent to the police or court or anything, she will not encourage any minister to get involved. Let the
law take its due course.
Let the law take its due course, because we are taking the place of the law, and we are not solving the issue.
Yeah.
We are not solving the issues.
It's rather creating more problems.
Creating more problems. We are not solving the issues. And I think that those are very serious challenges for us.
Right. If you're tuning in, we're having a conversation about religion, culture, and how it can help in our national progress. We'll take a short breather. When we come back, we're going to be looking at religious tolerance in our institutions, in our communities, and how intolerance is affecting us in our national growth. Do not go away. Stay tuned.
Lakeside Estate is calling all business owners, institutions, and HR heads. Want to give your employees more than just a paycheck? Give them a place to call home. At Lakeside Estate, we're making it easy for companies to support their staff with beautiful lifestyle choice and affordable homes through flexible payment plans, staff financing, and mortgage options. Whether it's a 2-bedroom starter home, 3 bedrooms, or a spacious family home, Lakeside Estate has the perfect package for your team. Strong structure, modern finishes, and a vibrant community all are waiting. Let's partner together to give a lifetime value for your staff. Call our sales experts on 050-141-8622 or 050-859-8931 or visit lakesideestate.com. Lakeside Estate, quality homes for all.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Many thanks for staying with us on a Focus on Z101.9 FM, your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio. And today we're having a conversation with Reverend Afo, and we're looking at how religion and culture can help us in our national growth. If I Reverend, there's a comment from a listener who says, let me just read what he says. He says, tell Osofo that if the police, okay, he says it in pidgin. Let me just read it in pidgin. Okay. Tell Osofo, say, if the police come worry me, I will call you then Osofo for physical and spiritual legal backing. So somebody is telling you that notwithstanding what is happening, when the police come for him, he will call you. He needs legal backing to stand in court.
He needs spiritual backing to stand in court.
He needs the spiritual backing.
We pray that the will of God be done in the court. And God will be merciful. So that instead of 10 years, they give you 2 years. At least you will learn something.
Interesting. Anyway, now we are switching our attention to look at religious tolerance.
Yes, sir.
Religious tolerance in our community. In fact, in some countries, I'm aware of the fact that even to set up a church, you need some specific requirements. You should have been to the university, you hold a degree in theology and all that, because they want to be sure that the people who are going to run or hold the religious sector are people who are, should I say, they've been trained to accept diversity.
Okay.
Now, in recent times, there's been a lot of conversation in our schools as to whether we should allow different faiths in our schools. And in fact, I recall in 2009, in our Dissidel College, I recall, and it's in the news, and this is verifiable, there was a boy who, I think he was a Muslim, who, I think it was time for morning service, but they were in the classroom because, I mean, this is an Anglican school.
Okay.
So they insisted that service was compulsory.
Yeah.
But these boys were in the classroom, I think they were studying because they were Islam boys. And the teacher was going around. So when they saw him, I mean, as their practice, they were jumping from, I think, the third floors. When he jumped, he landed on a pipe and died.
Wow.
So it brought up a whole lot of conversation about religious tolerance.
Wow.
First, as a general icebreaker, what do you make of religious tolerance in our institutions?
Thank you very much, and welcome to your viewers again. I think that there should be a certain level of tolerance. Our nation is built in such a way that we are different people. We believe in different things. There's a theologian called Hans Kuhn. Hans Kuhn will say that not one thing works for everybody. So if we find ourselves in a system, or we find ourselves in a nation where we all have different religions, as a matter of fact, even in the major religions themselves, there are differences. If you come to Christianity, there are differences. I'm sure Islam too has some differences in them. We should create a common grounds for everybody to operate.
Yeah.
Should create a common grounds. We should have a system where everybody can feel at peace to practice their religion. I think that would be my initial comment in that regard.
So now, drawing on that okay, we should have tolerance. Now, there's been a move by some people that we should just kill any religious activity in our schools. Let's just be focused on AI. Let's just focus on knowledge, because that is what is moving the world. But I tend to see, again, if you go to these other countries which have developed, you see that they are actually, you see religious things. That, I mean, I always keep saying it. When I went to WTO in Switzerland, you see that the building of the institution of where every world trade actually happens, you see religious insignias on it.
Wow.
Not necessarily Christian, but you see religious. You see a woman with a naked breast. You see somebody which you can tell all of these have religious connotation. So now with the move where a lot of people are saying that let's forget about religions in our schools. Let's just focus on learning. What do you have to say to that?
For me, I think that would be, we will miss it if we go that tangent. We will miss it. Religion is not a hindrance to progress. Religion is not a hindrance to progress. Our national progress and our technological advancement is not parallel to what religion teaches. Religion teaches us discipline, attentiveness to work, integrity, honesty, the right way of living, hard work, and all that. Especially for Christians, if you are a level of the book of Proverbs, it teaches you real life situations and how to behave, how to speak, when to speak, and all that. If we take these things out of our institutions, out of our educational institutions, for instance, and we want to go the way of technology and AI, we'll run back 50 years and come and sit here and say that we missed it some time ago. When we are doing what we call Christianity in non-Western world, one of the things that comes out for us is that the religion of the Western world, or Christianity in the Western world, has lost its footing. And because it has lost its footing, there are some fundamental basic issues that are lost. They are doing well, they are progressing, they are building the industries, they are raising all sort of, advancement in society and advancement in religion and advancement in technology and all that. But at the root of it, there are certain things that are missing. Things about love, about care, about concern, about togetherness, about, these things that are core to religious faith, especially for us as Africans who are very communal. Africans are very communal. That's our DNA. That's the way we are. You can't just find a woman somewhere and go and marry the woman and go and stay somewhere. We are communal. You can't get up one day and just do anything you want.
And even in our religions too, we are communal.
We are very communal.
In the different religions.
We are very communal. So if you want to go a certain technology tangent and we fail to admonish or encourage people to stick to their religious faith, we will run and forget our shoes. We'll run and remember that we have forgotten something. And I think that is what we should strive to protect. Religion does not stop us from getting better. Does not stop you from becoming astute in your academic work. I mean, as Methodists, our presiding bishop, the Most Reverend Asamoah, Professor Asamoah Jedu, will say that he wants to see a Methodist youth who are excelling in their various endeavors. So if you're a Methodist youth and you are in carpentry, he wants you to be the best there. You're a Methodist youth, you are in a legal profession, you are in any medical profession, he wants to see the best there. Religion is the promoter of good things, good virtues, good way of living, never a hindrance to it. So I would suggest that any conversation that will encourage us to be very technological, astute, intelligent, brilliant, that will leave religion and a sense of God out, will be a bit of a problem many years to come. For today, we might be, convenient to say that, okay, let everybody just go to school, focus on getting better, getting great, becoming that lawyer, that doctor, that nurse, that, estate manager, and leave God out. But if you're a parent and you have ever been to church before, or you have ever been to a mosque before, and your child grows up, hits school going age, and you ask him that, Sunday, what are you doing? Daddy, I just want to sleep and study. Then will you be happy as a parent that your child decides not to go to the mosque at all, decides not to go to the church at all? Nothing. Will you be happy as a parent? And I think that these are some of the things that we will have to look at when some of these conversations come up.
Absolutely. Now let's turn our attention also to our workplace.
Okay.
And again, I'm going to ask you another hard question, Sofo. If you were a CEO of your company, even still as a Reverend Minister, you have a company, people work there. You have this person who comes to work, and in fact, he comes to work around 11 a.m. Okay, well, why couldn't you report at 8? Or he went for a morning prayer meeting, ended at 10:30 and came. At 1, the person takes break. Person goes to hide somewhere, prays for about 3 hours, comes back to work at 4. Will you have a problem with that?
I would have a problem with that.
Why so? When I mean, especially when you represent, a religious sect which encourages us to be prayerful. And I'm asking this because this again is a thing that happens at workplace.
It's happening.
A lot of people will blame the fact that I'm going to church, I'm going here, which affects our national growth. Why will you stop that person?
Let me bring a bit of my Methodist theology and training and Wesleyanism into this discussion. There are pillars of Wesleyanism or Methodist tradition. We call it the 4 pillars. So we call it what we call Wesleyan quadrilateral. It begins with scripture, reason, experience, and tradition. One of the things that Christianity does not or does promote is reason.
Yeah.
Reason. And we preach that a lot. That you should be, God has given you conscience. The conscience of any person is the voice of the Holy Spirit. So you have reason. Why would you sign up for a contract, an assignment to do, and then on working hours, you choose to practice your religious faith on working hours? For me, as a pastor and theologian, I think that is very wrong, and we should tell people the plain truth. That is very wrong. So I've had some people who have asked me issues about Alpha Hour. They've asked me issues about, there's one NSPPD. They've asked me issues about churches that do morning glory and all that. And I always tell them that any religious activity that makes you unproductive in the day is a challenge. And
any religious activity that makes you unproductive in the day. It's a challenge.
It's a challenge. And you must look at it again. If you can spend all night praying and you know that on Saturday, maybe all nights are usually on Fridays. So Saturday, we have a very quick work schedule to do between 7 to 11, 8 to 12 and all that. And you go for an all night and you come to the work and you are dozing. Are you okay?
But then in their estimation,
Yeah.
the Lord will do. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not by efforts.
Yeah.
It's the Lord who will do. So yes, he doesn't need to put in any effort.
Yeah.
All he needs is just consult this God, and it's
Yeah.
going to work.
There's a church father called Saint Cyprian. Saint Cyprian says that God will not do for you that which wisdom should do for you. God will not do for you that which wisdom should do for you. There's another father called Tertullian. They call it Tertullian. Tertullian will say that the business of your life in the daytime of your life is the work to which you are engaged. The business of your life in the daytime of your life is the work to which you are engaged. If you are called to work in the day, work. Jesus says that I must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. Day is for working time. So if you can create a time where you can leave, you can go on leave, or you can excuse yourself from duty with very genuine, accepted excuse duty, that's fine. But if you practice your religious faith at the expense of your work ethic, at the expense of your efficiency, at the expense of your productivity, then you are not applying reason to your faith. You are not applying wisdom.
And we have to amplify this part the Lord more, because it looks like now a lot of unproductivity comes from these issues.
Come from the Christians.
That they'll say, "Oh, I have to go for a retreat, a
Yes.
church retreat, 1 month.
Yes.
You are gone." They come back. I have to go for this. I have to go for that. In fact, I know of a particular marriage who even collapsed because of that. Because anytime the husband comes from abroad, I'm going for church this, I'm going for church that, and all that. But I have a comment which says that I agree with Osofo. Religion, and mainly Christianity, is meant to train the heart of the individual, and education trains the mind of the person.
Okay.
If we just train the minds of the people, yes, they have evil hearts, they'll be excellent at doing evil deeds.
Wow.
Let me read the last part. If we just train the minds of people, yet they have evil hearts, they will be excellent at doing evil deeds.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. It's true. It's very true. It's very true. If our faith does not come to our work life, we will. You see that Bible says that the heart of a man is desperately wicked. Already, there's evil in us already.
Yeah.
So it is religion that helps us to curtail the expressions of evil. It is religion. So if we take religion out, our excellency will, like our listener said, will help us be excellent at committing evil, and that is serious. I have some Christian friends who own certain small businesses, certain small businesses, and they go like they don't want to employ anybody who is audacious.
Yeah.
And they classify that one. They want somebody who goes to church on Sunday, but when he comes to work, he knows that I've come to work. Because when he was growing up as a young businessman, he had a lot of Christian friends who would come on board to help, and he realized that with the understanding that they are going to the mountains, they are going for retreat, they are fasting, so they are weak, and you do all the work. When finally that conglomerate of a sort collapsed, and he began alone, he decided that I will not employ anybody who is a seemingly serious Christian. He was an average Christian, someone who comes to work, he puts his head on the table, Father, to help me to work, or doesn't even pray at all.
Starts
working. At 5, he closes. When it is lunch break, 12 to 1, you can do whatever religious activity, any prayer you want to do, and that's all. After that, straight to work. After 5, he closes. I don't know how many Christians will go to foreign countries, and when it's time for work, they will go there and they will start reading the Bible when the production is going on. Then you are hiding somewhere. Ghana now,
essentially, you're right. It's only in this country you can do this thing, because they go outside.
They work hard, though.
Yes, extremely hard.
Yeah.
In fact, they are working, and see, most of people, in fact, there are a lot of people who are very religious. When they go out, they don't even go to church.
They don't even go.
They don't go.
I have so many examples of those.
They tell that the system doesn't even support this kind of thing. And then you realize the value for it. So why can't we just transfer that same thing here? That is the problem.
That is the problem.
They have a comment who says that on this Christian prayer and stuff, doesn't the Bible say that there's a time for everything?
Exactly.
Why spend work time praying? If it's my business, I'll sack you. It says that Ghanaian Christians can be very indisciplined.
Exactly. That's a common thing that's happening. A lot of the indiscipline in workplaces are Christians. There are a lot of teachers who go to work, who go to the classroom, they put some note assignments there, then they are reading their Bible, earpiece on their ears, they are listening to whatever Christian conversation or prayer that is going on. And I think that it's not our fault. It's the way our nation is. It's like we are looking for something. We are not satisfied with where we are. We are not satisfied financially, economically. We are not satisfied socially. There are a lot of things wrong with our lives. The people are looking for marriages. They are looking for jobs. They are looking for money. They are looking for babies. And those things engage them. Those things. There are those who are religious fanatics who just want to speak in tongues and do whatever. But a lot of the people who are glued to certain religious or church or denominational time of prayer and all that, is because they realize that there's a need in their lives. There's a need in their lives. Into one vampire now when pushia, he will not get. So any small time or any time he gets, he wants to be praying, hoping that God will answer.
Very interesting, because and these same people are causing the problem. The person is not working, the money is not coming. Now he's rather using a different route to go and look for money. In fact, for me, I personally believe that all our problems we have, they are created by us. Whether it's inflation, huge, they are created. They are usually artificial. You know, and I mean, very, very interesting conversation at workplace, which I think that we have to amplify the fact that when you are at work, you are at work.
You are at work.
You are not there to do a religious activity. Yes. Unless your work is a religious work. But if it's a secular work, you shouldn't be there using working time to be doing that which ought to have been done at another time. And as just the listener said, that there's a time for everything.
There's a time for everything. So even in church, there are certain conversations where there are people who work online. There are people who work with multinational companies, and they come to church on Sunday, and they have to be with their phone, as it were. So whilst church service is going on, any moment of, say, praise or worship or announcements or those portions or those times of church service, they can just check online to see if their manager has sent them something, if their company has sent them an update, if there's an email to check. So even in church, the ones that will flip their phones and just check those things quickly and come back to church.
Yeah.
And we create room for those things and we accept them. But to go to work and go there to go and spend hours praying and all that. When I was in the uni, if it was today, I wouldn't do. But that was when I had hot Holy Ghost fire, those things, and I would skip classes and go to KNUST Botanical Gardens to go and pray. And I always say that I had those is fathers in the Lord, mothers in the Lord on campus who will not meet me and ask me, I don't know how's your average doing. They won't ask you about average. They won't ask you about lectures. They'll ask you what is the Lord saying.
Yeah.
What is the Lord saying? And what is the Lord saying captured me as a young growing boy in my 18s and 19s. What is the Lord saying? So I am always praying to hear what the Lord says, so that for those kind of conversations you can tell them and all that. And it affected my academics very greatly. And it is one of the things that I always tell people who are coming not to make that same mistake. At times you have to study. At times you have to study. Those days they used to tell us that when it's time to study as if there is no God. When it's time to pray as if there is no books. And that became the new wave of ideas we were helping the young Christians to acknowledge. When it's time to study as if you are not a Christian. When it's time to pray as if you are not in the university to study. And the Bible says that false balance is an abomination to God. So we will encourage people that if it's time to work, go to work and work.
Yeah.
If it's time to pray, spend time and pray. I tell people that I am a pastor, even though that recently I'm in school and I have academic work to do. My job is to pray at night, pray for members, visit them, check up on them.
That's your work.
That is my work.
Yes.
So
the person working in the factory, that is not his work.
That is not your work. Your work is not to pray for 10 hours. Mine as a pastor is to pray for 6 hours, 10 hours. Because I'm a pastor, that's my work. Visit members, check up on them. But yours is to work. So when it's time to work. So don't act like a pastor, so to say, in your workplace during working hours.
Yeah.
Leave that to. That's why I have some of my senior ministers who are not really interested in long church hours, especially when it's in the evenings.
Yeah.
People have gone to work. You as a pastor, you stayed in your bed and you are kaboing and kabaing and reading your Bible and chanting in the spirit and whatever you are doing. So you are at rest. So you can stay in the chapel from 6:30 to 10.
And even they living, most of them, they live in a month. So
They live in a month. But someone has gone to work. He left the home at 4:30, 5:36, went to work, came close at 5. With all the traffic, came to church at 6:30. How do you keep the person there till 9:30, 10? Then the person is yawning, then you are screaming, you are... What is wrong with you? One of my senior ministers will say that, are you sure you are doing God's work or you are doing your own work and all that? So I think that the point has already been made, and I think it will help all of us, any religious denomination you belong to. When it's time to work, you do. I think our brothers, the Muslims, do well when it comes to these things, even though they have to pray 5 times a day. They are able to do it very...
It's ordered.
Yes, very ordered, so that it does not affect their productive life. But it's not the Christian who has, I
have another comment who says that, so you see, listening to Osofo now, it's like many Christians like shortcuts. Same attitude in the church where people have this lackadaisical attitude towards even church work. 10 members on a committee and only 3 or 4 are really working. Many of us are just not disciplined.
Exactly. You are looking for people to work in the church, and it's like you can't find. You can't find, because like our listener said, you have a committee of 12 people, and you go down to the business of it, you go down to the real work of it, and only two people are
Yeah.
running the whole show, and
Yeah.
it's
No,
quite
but
an issue.
again, it's a virtue that we have lost to work.
Mm.
People, and that's the shortcuts.
Mm.
We want the glory, but we don't want the work.
Yeah.
So the person to sit and do the work is like a headache.
Mm.
The person feels like, okay, why should I do the work?
Mm.
And again, in our countries, our Western countries, we learn from, well, you're given the task, you are given the task.
You are giving the task.
You are paid your salary based on your output.
Yes.
But here, the person goes to work crying for increase in salary. The question is, you ask them, okay, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
Nothing. Now the person comes social media, person uses the office Wi-Fi for Snapchats and all that. At the end of the day, the person says, I'm a Christian. So I think that we will have to be able to amplify the fact that Christianity or being part of a religious faith does not take away hard work.
Yes.
And that is what we as a country, we are missing heavily.
Yes.
That we are not working hard, but we are praying for success.
Yes.
So just because of the fact that you belong to a faith, your mind, you want a supernatural boom. Yes, I mean, we all pray for that, but it must come with some level of effort.
Yes.
Which you have emphasized heavily that even if you are an owner of a business, somebody comes only focusing on spirituality, you
I
sack
can't
the
work with
person.
the person. No, I can't work with the person. I can't work with the person.
Yeah.
We must be people who are intentional about discipline and hard work. Discipline and hard work. One of the people in the Bible who was astute as a businessman, who was also in government, was the man Daniel. Bible said I had an excellent spirit. It was not only because he was overly spiritual and God spoke to him and God gave him interpretation to dreams, but he was very active in government, very adding his quota, his integrity was up there. What sent him to the lions den was that the people said that this guy is too good, he's too upright, he does the right things, so let's find a way to make sure to take him out of the way. And people are so afraid.
Yeah.
We want to, if you cannot beat them, join them syndrome. We don't want to be the odd one out. We are not able to stand out. What if I go and then they conjure some things and they sack me, or they do some things and I lose my job and all that? But I think that people who have kept their integrity, people who have done the right things, even at the cost of their job, they have done the right thing. They know that this one is right. Everybody knows that this one is right. But there's a certain caucus in the job that is trying to push a certain agenda for me to do the wrong thing. But I choose to do the right thing. If they lose their jobs today, give them a few years' time. They become better and they rise higher.
Yeah.
And they rise higher. Yeah.
Right. So I have just about 6 minutes to bring the show to an end. But I'll ask you one very hard, maybe my last hard question.
Today has been a session of hard
I'm
questions.
asking hard question. My very last hard question. Maybe you can just address in just 2 minutes. Wrapping up on the conversation on how our religion and our culture can help us with our national or our nation progress, our national progress. Do you think that religious leaders should be actively involved in politics?
Politics.
Party politics,
Yes.
I mean.
The waters of politics are very muddy. They are very muddy. Religion is supposed to be non-partisan. We are very much supposed to be non-partisan. That's what we are taught. That's what we preach. So for a religious leader to
But the example of Daniel you gave, Daniel was high in the politics of that day.
Yeah, the institution itself is good. The political arena is good for our nation building, because we need people to run the nation. That's the truth of the matter. If everybody says that I won't do politics, Ghana will not run. But it is the persons who are there, who are trying to promote a certain agenda, who end up living a certain way of life and doing certain things that are against each other, as it were, and politics becomes a very slippery ground. I would encourage anybody who has political ambition not to shy away from it. Only a counsel, only an admonishment that make sure that God can trust you to do the right thing when you get there. I had a friend of mine. I don't want to mention his name. He's now somebody. He's now somebody in the current government. We grew up together, and when we were growing up, he would always say that he won't chop the politics money some, because that be where the money day. And I always, we were young, but we always encourage him that the way you like this party, just get into it. Maybe that's where God is leading you. And I always tell him that when you go, don't forget that you're a Christian. Now, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. So I don't want to mention his name. I'm not so sure. Is that he has gotten into the system. There's a system that runs the things, and you have to be part of a system. And once you are part of a system, you have to defend a certain ideology. You have to defend a certain way of life, even though you know that it is not the best for the ordinary Ghanaian. But because in a certain system, you have to be part of it and push the party's agenda. So politics is a good area for anybody who wants to enter. Just make sure that you do the right things when you get there.
But not for the leader of the religious institution.
That one I would say no.
You'd say no?
Yeah, that one I would say no.
But if the leader, he's the one supposed to be the light of the world.
Yeah.
So he's supposed to bring us the light. If all of us in politics are in the dark, he should bring us the light. Shouldn't it be so? So that we can say, because we have to be able to solve this problem.
Yeah.
Of bringing the light there. It means that now we can't trust even our leaders, our leaders of our religious institutions to bring us the light. And it means that now there's a big problem. We must start shifting attention to our religious institutions,
yes,
of whichever. Because from the recent stories and news we read, across the divide, Islamic leaders, Christian leaders, we see them being put on charges for corruption-related offense. Some of them convicted at certain points. It means that now we have to look at our religious institution critically.
We have to,
because then going forward, if that sector, which was our only bastion of hope, we lose it, we may be doomed. The light is supposed to shine in darkness. Yeah.
And the darkness will not comprehend it. That is scripture. Unfortunately, light shines in free space. Light shines in free space. When there are so many clothes and so many things around, the light cannot shine. And that is why you're a religious leader and you enter into politics. It's either you will leave or you will bend.
Yeah.
So if you can stay, God will help you. But the temptation to bend will be very high. Will be very high. And before you realize, the people who looked up to you as a spiritual leader will lose faith in you.
So it says that the temptation to bend is very high.
Yeah.
So let me just take your final words, then we can wrap up on the show.
All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in and for having me around today. I think that we've encouraged ourselves to tolerate each other. Ghana is a very peaceful, loving country. We have grown to be a better nation because we have learned to accept each other's religious background, and we live at peace as a nation. Let us not do anything that will endanger the peace of our nation, especially from our religious understanding. Whatever will cause rancor, uproar based on your faith as a Muslim, as a Christian, we should desist from it. And to encourage religious acceptance and tolerance from everybody, and to encourage our religious people to be very hardworking, very active, very industrious, and very productive when they must work. And save yourselves, because the year is getting to an end. Just keep yourself safe, and Christmas is around the corner. Let's share love and share togetherness, and together Ghana will move forward. Thank you all very much.
Indeed, together Ghana will move forward. Let's encourage our religious people to be very hardworking. In fact, yes. I won't ask that question. I was that we have heard that on 25th something is happening, but I won't ask that question. Anyway, no. I'm not going to ask that question.
No, don't ask that question.
Yeah. Many thanks for tuning in and for staying with us on the Focus. Today we had a conversation on how our religion and our cultural practices can strengthen us and how it can lead us in our nation or our national progress series. And more importantly, Reverend has highlighted the fact that you are a religious person does not mean that you must not be hardworking. It doesn't mean that. And so for all our people out there who have taken an entrenched approach that they would rather be religious than be hardworking, and that is what's going to bring them results, we would have to relook at that posture again. Yeah. We have also highlighted the fact that integrity and telling the truth is what we need in our religious institutions. We must learn how to tell the truth and stand for the truth. And not just because of the fact that we have money, we think we can pay our way through. I want to say a very big thank you, Reverend, for spending your Saturday morning with us. I know you could have been doing so many other things, but you chose to come and educate us on our religious roles for our national growth. Many thanks also for. Yes, and many thanks to everybody who spent their Saturday morning with us for tuning in. From 9 to 11, we're just very grateful. Thank you for the support. Those who sent in their comments and their contributions, we are very grateful for your participation. Thank you to everybody, and thank you for staying tuned. We'll come your way next week at the same time from 9 to 11. And until we come your way, remember that it's always Ghana first. Our sports team is next, waiting, standing by to bring us all the updates from sports. Do not turn your dial away from Z 101.9 FM.